Yo, what is going on YouTube? This is your boy Dan, aka aDrive, bringing you guys a Pokemon NU Wi-Fi battle against my homie BradyOActiv. Make sure you guys check out his YouTube link in the description. He's another Wi-Fi battle shiny hunter just like me. Quickly running through my team. This is kind of an experimental team that I've kind of adapted to 6th generation. I used to use a team similar, basically with the Shedinja being the core and 2 rapid spinners in 4th gen and 5th gen. So I've had a lot of experience using Shedinja, and it happens to be one of my favorite Pokemon to use in competitive setting. So our question of the day today is, what is your favorite unique Pokemon? Or what are some other unique Pokemon like Shedinja? Shedinja kind of sticks out in my mind as being very, very unique, and I hate to keep using that word, but it fills a very interesting niche because of its ability, and it really is, you have to play very smart with it and kind of be quite aware of what the opponent's Pokemon might be carrying. Typically when I run this Shedinja team, I do actually keep a notepad and I write down every move that the opponent has, and I really think about my moves because it really is important when you're using it as the core of your team. So that's kind of my team. Looking at his team, I see some pretty big threats. Feraligatr is always a huge threat in NU. I'm assuming that Dragonair is going to be like the Dragon Dance Rest Shedskin variant. He's got a pretty good defensive core with, you know, the Regice and the Sandslash, and then the Lilligant and the Lampent can be pretty big offensive threats. Usually you see Lampent being offensive as opposed to like an Eviolite defensive variant. So I'm not going to be surprised if I see a Choice Scarf Lampent or I see something like that. So I'm actually going to predict him to lead with his Sandslash, wanting to get up his Stealth Rocks really quickly. He's going to lead with Feraligatr, probably expecting me to go with my Sandslash myself. So I actually get a pretty good start off point here. And I'm going to go for the Toxic. I figure he might be fearing the Scald, which is why he's going to switch out. My Toxic misses. He's going to go for the Rock Polish here, which wasn't really the greatest idea ever, because while he does have this Regice and it can do a lot of damage, knowing it does carry the Thunderbolt, I'm not scared of it all. I'm running full special defense on my War Turtle, and I'm really not fearing this Regice. They don't have the best special attack, and I know it's got Rock Polish, Thunderbolt, and Ice Beam now, so it's just a matter of figuring out what its third move is going to be. Most of the time they don't carry Ancient Power, so I'm going to protect here just to kind of scout and see if I can start to figure out its moveset, which is kind of the idea of running the Shedinja set right here. Also guys, if you are enjoying this video so far and you do enjoy more Wi-Fi battles, give me 100 likes on this, guys, and I'll get you another Wi-Fi battle by Wednesday. I do want to do more Wi-Fi battles, and I kind of want to see if you guys are interested in seeing them. So I'm going to scout, switch out to Shedinja, knowing he's going to go for either Thunderbolt or Ice Beam, and I realize that, okay, obviously he has Ice Beam, he's got Rock Polish, he's got Thunderbolt. We'll see what he has here. I don't want to take the chance of him having Ancient Power, so I'm just going to switch, knowing that my Ledian can take whatever he wants to go for. If he does have the Ancient Power, then I make a bad play. But he actually goes for the Focus Blast, which is what I figured he was actually carrying. I would have 4 times resisted the Focus Blast with my Ledian, so I wasn't really worried about it. That was my prediction. I figured he had nothing to hit my Shedinja, but he was just going to try to see if I overpredicted. So, not a big deal. My Ledian is in here, but I really have no reason to stay in. I know he's going to switch out. He's going to switch out into a counter, so I'm going to switch out myself. I go into my Shedinja again, expecting him to possibly go into Feraligatr, something like that. Wasn't too sure. But he's going to go into his Sandslash. He switches his Sandslash out, and at that point I realized his Sandslash does not have knockoff. Otherwise he would have stayed in, unless he was over-predicting or really wanted this Flash Fire. I see that it has Flash Fire now. I know that it doesn't have Infiltrator. Kind of unique. But that gives me a little bit of concern here that maybe he is running a defensive set as opposed to the initial thought I had. He's going to go for Fire Blast here. It's actually boosted with the Flash Fire. It's going to do a decent amount of damage, but again, I am fully specially defensive. I see the Life Orb damage. Take note of that, and I realize that this is an offensive Lampent like my initial thoughts were, you know what I mean? I kind of felt like it would be offensive. Typically they are in NU. It's not the defensive set. So Flash Fire is a little weird as opposed to Infiltrator, but I guess it gives him cover for Lilligant. So I go for the Scald here. I'm not going to overpredict. I'm at a pretty good advantage. I'm surprised he didn't go into Regice. That would have been the smarter play, but I think the fact that Shedinja completely walls Regice keeps it from setting out. So I'm going to stay in here knowing I just want to get the kill on the Sandslash. So I stay in, I go for another Scald, and that'll be the end of the Sandslash. Really not a huge deal. He wasn't able to get him with Stealth Rocks, but I do have 2 Rapid Spinners, both Sandslash and War Turtle, which provide my defensive and specially defensive core. So I wasn't really worried about Stealth Rocks. Shedinja had plenty of opportunities there. In comes the Dragonair, probably to absorb status, expecting me to go for Toxic or something like that. But I realized that my status isn't going to really do anything to it anyway, because it does have Shedskin. Most Dragonairs do carry Shedskin. So I just switch right out into Ellie, which is my Sandslash. And I realize that it's got Eviolite, and I want to get that off. I want to get rid of the Eviolite as soon as possible. So I'm going to go for the knockoff. This Dragonair goes to +2, so it's sitting at +2 attack and +2 speed. And I'm in a bit of trouble here because this thing can hit pretty hard. But let's be honest here, Dragonair does not have the best of physical attack stats. So its outrage isn't going to do a whole lot. Even a +2 outrage is not actually going to knock me out. It's almost a 2-hit KO. It's really close after leftovers. Not anything I'd want a chance. My Earthquake almost knocks it out. It does a good amount, like a solid 60% with the Earthquake after the Eviolite's gone. I'm just going to switch out. It used Outrage. I know it's locked into Outrage, and I can just go right into Shedinja again, which completely walls this Dragonair, unless he's carrying that rare Fire Blast. I know he's got Dragon Dance, I know he has Outrage, and I know he has Rest, because that's the standard Rest set. The other question now is, does he have Sleep Talk? Is he carrying Fire Blast? I don't know. Sometimes they do carry Fire Blast, which is a little bit weird. So I'm actually going to just go for the X-Scissor. I figure if he has Fire Blast, not a big deal. He is asleep, so I'll take my chances. I hit him with the X-Scissor. He actually switches out at this point and is going to go into Irwin, which is his Feraligatr. The way he brings this in makes me think this thing has to have Crunch. But we'll find out right now, right? If he doesn't have Crunch, then it's not a huge deal. It's going to take the X-Scissor. I'm going to switch out, realizing that the Crunch is probably going to happen. I go into my best possible switch. Now that Sand Slash is gone, I'm not too worried about it. He is actually going to go for the Swords Dance, which was a great play by Brady. Really good call, man. Knew I didn't want a chance to Crunch, because sometimes Feraligatrs don't carry it. But then he switches. I don't know why he switched here. Maybe he didn't realize that I was specially defensive and not physically defensive. I think a Crunch would have knocked me out, but I go for Toxic. Smart play right into Regice, but again, Regice is totally walled by Shedinja, so it's kind of a moot point. So I'm able to just keep switching back into my Shedinja if I want to, and that's giving me a free hit every time, as long as he doesn't predict or over-predict or whatever it is. So he's going to go for Rock Wash again, trying to set up this Regice at like a last-ditch effort, last desperation to try to have a chance against me. But again, he's totally walled by my Shedinja, which is one of the reasons why Shedinja is such a good poke. I go for Shadow Sneak here, and it actually knocks it out. It's a crit, but still knocked it out. I was using the Shadow Sneak just in case he went into Lampent again. I didn't want a chance to Will-O-Wisps. So here's a very crucial part of the match. I find out right here, right now, he has Crunch, which is why I run Focus Sash. So Focus Sash is going to allow me to live the first hit, the Crunch, and I'm able to go for a Will-O-Wisp here and actually burn the Feraligatr. So this Feraligatr is essentially crippled. One of the biggest threats on his team that was Swords Dance Feraligatr is now crippled. So I know his moveset is going to be Waterfall, Swords Dance, Aqua Jet, and Crunch now, which is kind of weird that he's running, unless he's got Ice Punch, but either way, he's got Crunch, so that's kind of atypical. Half the time you see it with Crunch, half the time you see it without it. So he's going to go for Swords Dance again. Now that he's burned, he kind of has to compensate for the fact that he is burned. So in comes the Swords Dance, and I'm like, you know what? He's burned, man. I can take a hit. I can take a hit, no problem. So I bring in my Sand Slash here, thinking I could probably take a hit from this thing. He's going to over-predict me to go into Shedinja, and that is the pure power of Shedinja. I'm pretty sure I would have lived the Waterfall either way. So I go for the Stealth Rocks here. I'm like, that's 25% off that Lampent right now. That Stealth Rocks is going to be crucial, especially since the Lampent is probably one of my biggest concerns on his team right now. Just gets to take some more burn damage, and I'm just sitting here, no problems. You can't touch me, especially if he over-predicts and goes for Crunch. So I'm going to actually go into Shell Shocked here, predicting him to go for the Water move. And I hate to play like this, but that's kind of like how this team works. He's going to go for the Aqua Jet here, which he might actually not be carrying Waterfall. But he gets a crit, so it does a good amount of damage, but I still live it. And he's pretty much in a bad situation. I go for Protect here just to be safe. Like, I don't want to have the chance of bringing something in, because then they're going to take an Aqua Jet, or they're going to take a Crunch. Like, I could have Shadow Sneaked, but it just made the most sense. It would be a double down, and that seemed to be the best play to me. I never liked to Protect Stall, but it made the most sense. So it's going to be a double down. His Feraligatr goes down. I go down as well. He dies to burn. Not a big deal. Now we're sitting at a 5-3, but he is still 3 pretty strong Mons. And, you know, I got to make sure I play smart here. I do have this huge advantage that's called Shedinja, but he's going to go into Lumiere Jr., which is his little Lampent. He's going to take some damage from the Stealth Rocks, I believe. There it is. And I'm actually going to bring in my Ledian here. So I run this really cool Ledian set, which is dual screens like Clay. I love Ledian. It's one of my favorite Pokemon. Thing looks freaking awesome. I'm going to go for the Light Screen here just to see if I can take a Fire Blast. I figured, why not? Might be funny if I could actually live it. He's going to go for the Trick Room, and I was like, whoa, that's not good for me. Here comes a Fire Blast. I have the Light Screen up, and I live the hit because Ledian is an absolute beast. I think I'm running max HP, max speed on this thing to set up screens. So I get my Reflect up here, and at that point, I'm pretty sure that I got this in the bag. But he does have a Trick Room Lampent sitting out here, and he is going to knock me out with a Fire Blast. So, here I am. It's a 4-3. And this is a close game now, all of a sudden. I do have 2 really heavy hitters, though, and this thing only has so many turns of Trick Room left. I'm gonna go into Pluto, which is my Camera Up tier, and I think this is my best play. I feel like Camera Up is definitely my strongest Pokemon, and I might be able to outspeed because of the Trick Room. So I'm gonna Mega Evolve into Mega Camera Up, which looks absolutely amazing when it's a shiny form. I'm gonna go for the Earth Power, and I know this thing's gonna get knocked out. It's not carrying EVLA, so there's really no chance for him to actually live at this point in time, and that is going to knock out his Lumiere Jr., leaving him with just Lilligant and Dragonair. So he's going to bring in the Lilligant here, and his real opportunity to win is to get a Sleep Powder off, set up, and sweep. If he's running the standard Lilligant set, he's going to have HP Rock, which will give him a counter to Shedinja. He goes for that Sleep Powder. I missed the Fire Blast in the last turn of the Trick Room, and I'm sitting here playing this match, thinking to myself, I'm going to lose because I missed a Fire Blast, because he's going to set up to plus whatever and destroy me. He switches. Why did he switch? I have no idea. But in comes the Dragonair, which was, I guess, his best play. I'm not quite sure why he switched to Dragonair. I switched too. My thought process here was, I need to activate my Toxic Orb, and I don't want a chance of that Lilligant setting up and being out faster than my Ursaring. I felt like I'd be able to live a +1 hit from Lilligant, so my best play was to switch to my Ursaring. Smokey the Bear, only you can prevent forest fires, and he is actually going to knock out the Dragonair and leave it to a 4-1 against the Lilligant. Unfortunately, Lilligant cannot take hits from Smokey the Bear, because Smokey is an absolute monster hitting things with this ridiculously powerful facade. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this match. It was a good match against Brady. I really appreciate the battle, dude. Make sure you check out his channel in the description. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. 100 likes, I'll get you another video by Wednesday. This has been your boy aDrive. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.